dey talk am for Benin, na so we dey do am for Benin. Story, story, Toyo, Yayako. Story, story, Toyo, Yayako.
Alright, it's Issues and Answers on Edo Broadcasting Service. Thank you for staying connected. My name is Josephine. This morning we'll be looking at religious intolerance. That's our topic this morning. We'll be looking at it. Last week, Thursday, something happened in the country and in Sokoto State where a young lady Deborah Samuel was killed as a result of a post in a WhatsApp classroom group, and a lot of outcries concerning what happened, and there were a lot of condemnation. Many people, persons have been talking about the issues, and this is what we are looking at this morning, so that to forestall further occurrence of such wicked hearts. And that's what we'll be looking at this morning. And we have our guest this morning who will be talking on the topic. Let me start from a public analyst, is Wisdom Eda Iberi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Josephine. Thank you for having me.
All right, we have Mr. EWHE OSIFO, is a member, Edo State Drug Control Committee. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, blessed be us.
All right, and we have our former chairman, Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Edo State, MALAM BAKO. You're welcome.
Thank you, Josephine.
All right.
Thank you, viewers at home.
We have the house is complete, and being the woman, it now makes it gender balance.
You're welcome.
All right, let me start from Wisdom Eda Iberi. What do we mean by religious intolerance?
That's interesting. Well, I think religious intolerance is the act of inability of religious enthusiasts or people who have affiliation with certain religion not to be able to flow freely and excessively or mingle with people of other religious views in certain areas, not generally in the public area, but on certain areas of life. So when we go to that area, you look at the challenge of people who indulge in extreme application of their religious views, and then because of the extreme application of religious views, it inhibits their association, it inhibits their mode of operation or relationship, or it stops them from going to certain extent into identifying with people of other religion. Yeah, so if you look at it clearly, it can be in the form of marriage, it can be in the form of worship, it can be in the form of even doing businesses together. It can be also in the form of giving them the kind of freedom their own members all get personally in life. So they might not even give such kind of freedom. It could also limit the extent at which those other people of different religion can assimilate into their own leadership circle. Take, for instance, in political circle, some people who are probably identifiable with a certain religion and they are extremists, it will be difficult for them to handle people of different religious views in their religious circle. They will be more comfortable with people who have the same religious views, and their appointments and their identification will be people within that circle. So it also happens in businesses. People who are extremists, they tend to identify with people in business because they are people from the same religion. But when it appears to be a different religion, the trust will wane down and the confidence will wane down as well. The level of secret will increase, and then the level of tolerance will not actually be there.
Thank you so much. Let me get your thought, Malam Bako. When we talk about religious intolerance, what does that mean?
I think my brother has given a very wide definition of what it is. It's just a summary, inability of others to accommodate their fellow being. Haven't been created by one God, but because you feel that there are differences in your religion, then you think that the view of that person does not count. Whereas in actual fact, every religious view counts.
Every religion.
Per the individual in those religions.
Okay. Let me stay with you, Malam Bako. Why is religion a sensitive issue in our country?
In a nutshell, I think that is because of ignorance of religion. A lot of persons see themselves as religious, but they don't really understand the religion which they belong. Because if you understand the religion you belong, I don't think there's any religion in the world that preach violence. So first of all, for you to be a religious person, you have to understand what are the contents of that religion, and what, in a nutshell, in a simple language, what are the do's and don'ts, and what are the relevance, and what is your role, what are you supposed to play as far as that religion is concerned. Unfortunately, most human beings have not even been able to fulfill their role individually as a religious person before you begin to. It's a case of you have not removed the peck in your eyes and you are beginning to think of removing somebody else's own. So per religious definition, one should be able to know God, fear God, know what God requires from you, do what is right, and avoid what is wrong. And of course, there's a borderline. The borderline is that in our religions, he said, whoever does not love for his brother what he loves for himself does not belong to us. It's not part of our religion. But whereas in other religion, it is said, do unto others what you wish to be done unto you. This is a broad principle. And if this principle does not apply to you as a person, you are not a religious person. You are just a bad person.
All right, thank you. Let me go to Mr. OSIFO. In Nigeria, we have different religion. We have the traditional religion, the Christian and the Muslim. Why is this religion a very sensitive issue when it comes to us staying together?
Religion has been very, very sensitive everywhere. I just want to flow with my colleague. You see, one of the issues we have here is education. People are ignorant. Normally, you fight what they don't know. But my problem is that people don't want to know. They are not ready to know. You just take religion, you just take it out of the bruise. You just take it somewhere else. It's not supposed to be so. Love your neighbor, as I said. It's a principle. Do what to other, what you expect them to do. It's a principle. It's just out of ignorance and out of, I don't want to say, is this stupidity? In fact, I think the first thing is education. People need to be educated. I'll give you a little breakdown.
No, before you go to that, like what happened in Sokoto is College of Education Sokoto. That means those persons within that environment, they are educated, and that happened. So do you say it's education that's the problem?
Hey, education is deeper than education as you see it too. It may just be there if people are in the school. It may even surprise that the orchestration of that art may not even be students. Maybe an external force. Somebody may have promoted it somewhere, provoked it somewhere. That's just some of the things you see. They provoke it somewhere, just pushing the student in front. If a thorough investigation is made, you discover that the authors are not actually students, they're outsiders. Just like as I mentioned, you see, religion has had this connotation of sort of killing before now. At that time, people were not educated. If I give you the history of crusade, in the days of crusade, when crusade was crusade, if the Christians tell you they are coming to your community or to your village to do crusade, if you are not ready to join, pack. And that was exactly what the other religion also did. And they now also pick up jihad. If you are not ready to join, pack. But as people get educated, get understanding, all this is going to die down. But my problem is that people refuse to be educated or to understand. You are not ready to intermingle with me. You are not ready to relate with me. How can you know what is happening to me? We need to relate. I am so glad you see some of the things that the government is doing. It are religious, it are faith organizations, and so on and so on, so that we can mingle. Whether you are in the traditionalists, you are a Muslim, or you are a Christian, and other religions. In fact, even before Christianity in Israel, there were other religions, jihad, Judaism, and so many. Even before
there's Shintoism, a lot of religions.
Confucianism.
Even before our brother, the prophet came on board, Christianity was there. So what I'm really trying to bring out here is that we don't need to take this thing to extreme. If you understand, you can listen. Religion is an open market. It's an open place. It's a marketplace. Advertise your own. Show me your crusade. Teach me.
Persuade me.
Persuade me. That's all. You see advert of, for example, let me just mention Gouda or any product. They're not going to tie your hand.
Why do you call that name?
Oh,
you have to pay later because you're commercializing it.
I'm sorry about
you will pay for that later.
Okay,
let me come to.
Yeah, let me just, in support of what my brother just said, let me quote one of our Sheikh Hamed Didat of South Africa. He said, the biggest enemy of Islam is the ignorant Muslim, whose ignorance leads him to intolerance, whose actions destroy the true image of the religion. And when people look at him, they think that what Islam represents. So I want to support that education matters a lot. Because you see people tying big head, wearing cassock. I'm sure that people will be surprised that, oh, this is the former chairman of the Islamic Affairs wearing shirt and trouser. Some people, some extremists, you say, what is BAKO doing there? Why did he not tie big head? A former chairman of the Islamic Affairs, he didn't dress like a Muslim. There are people who will be criticizing me as I'm here now because of their level of, you know, understanding of the religion.
Okay.
So I believe that people should first of all get to know the religions that you belong. Whether you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, or you are a Confucianist, or a Judaism, go into the books. There are books that tells you what these religions are all about, and they tells you your limit, even particularly when it comes to association with others. For example, I tell you my religion because if I say this, then you begin to wonder why should anybody kill anybody. Just before we got on the program, I told you about the prophet they said was blasphemed against now. While he was alive, there used to be a woman, out of hatred for him, would daily come and sweep his compound and pour the dirt in front of his house, just to get him angry.
Doing that to Prophet Muhammad?
Yes. A time came, for some few days, this dirt was no longer there. And the man came out and said, there's somebody who used to come and pour dirt here. What happened? I've not heard from her for some time. He inquired about her and they told her where the woman's house is. He traced the woman to the house. And the woman was shocked. And he said, yes, every day I come out to see you pour dirt in front of my house. But for about 3-4 days now, I didn't see that dirt. So I decided to find out what happened to you. Behold, the woman was sick. He prayed with the woman accepted Islam. Is that the prophet that you are saying that somebody talked to you are now killing? In religion, we were taught tolerance. Even the period of crusade or jihad, there were laws. Don't cut a tree. Don't kill a child. Don't kill a woman. Don't kill a clergyman. Don't destroy a house. Don't destroy a synagogue. Is that the man you are saying you are the blasphemy against you are fighting for? So to us, these are extremism out of the religion of Islam. So people should go and study and know what is required of you as a Muslim or as a Christian, that you will not mislead others. Because people now read Islam to be violent. But in actual sense, Islam means peace.
All right, some persons are of the view that most of the Muslim faithful, they don't have access to the Quran, that they just go to the mosque, somebody will talk to them and they will go home. Is it true that they don't have access to the Quran?
That's very wrong. That's very incorrect. In the past, yes, I could say because the language which the Quran was revealed, because of plagiarism and alterations, we try to maintain the language, which is Arabic. But today you have numerous translated religion, Quran in different languages, in Yoruba, in Hausa, in English, and even as a Christian, you can go into the bookshop and buy a translated Quran, and you will know more about the Muslims. So nobody now with it. You see, there are, just like you have in other religions, there are people who don't believe in indoctrinations. They are not ready to learn. They are not ready to read. They believe in BAKO YUSUF. So BAKO YUSUF idea becomes their religion. If I say kill, they kill. If I say save, they save. Because they believe that, oh, is the eye of God. Is the man through which we see, we receive our faith. It's through him that we know what religion is all about. It shouldn't be like that. Knowledge is for everybody, from cradle to death. So do not rely on one particular person to say, it's not sufficient for me. Then you begin to act on that. Then your ignorance begins to grow from foolishness to stupidity.
All right, let me stay with you. Talking about somebody, maybe they put insult, somebody insulted like the Prophet Muhammad. What, and which is wrong. You have to tolerate each other's religion. Yeah. In case of that, maybe somebody was like rude, maybe concerning a post. What can be done as against what was done?
Do you know what the Quran said? In the chapter of the Quran, it said, when you are in the midst of people who are saying ills about your religion, the prophet inclusive and God inclusive, he said, move out of that environment. He said, move out of that environment.
You don't kill the
You
person.
don't stay there, because if you don't, if you are there, it means you are part of them. You move out. He said, move. And he also said, if I'm in Benin now, I'm practicing my religion, and the environment it's not conducive with my religion. He said, leave Benin and go to another place so you can practice
According
religion.
to the Quran.
Yes, according to the Quran.
Okay.
I start to be proven wrong.
All right.
By any clergyman.
All right. Let me go to wisdom header. Nigeria, a lot of persons, we stay together. You have your religion, we have our religion. Why is it that it's so difficult for us to tolerating ourselves? Is it education? Is it economic challenge? Why is it a difficult thing that we can't tolerate ourselves? Is it as a result of orientation? What is it, please?
All right, I think there are challenges. It is an all-encompassing challenge. And I will say this here so that the world should hear. First, there are leaders who know what to do, but because the system favors them, they avoid, you understand, correcting the people because they know that this system is favoring them. Take, for instance, the northern part of the country. There have been plans to make sure that they are well informed and well educated. But you can imagine that most of our leaders feel that if these people are well informed and well educated, it will tell back on them in the negative. They feel that if these are margeries, these illiterate people who are loitering over the streets, if they begin to learn, that means one day they will begin to challenge them. So the system of ignorance, the system of non-education favors some elites in the northern part of the country. And then they have been so, if you go to those days of President Goodluck Jonathan, when he was building schools for Amadri, if you go to some of those places he built, they are just empty. They are deserted, some of those places. And then that's one. Then secondly are some clerics. Now, the people who attend either your church or your mosque are totally bounded
or your shrine
are bounded by whatever you tell them.
Yeah.
And then if an Islamic cleric, for example, is teaching towards extremism, if he's teaching towards violence, it is impossible for the followers to become peaceful. And that was exactly what happened in Sokoto. You remember during the Juma, the Imam of the Central Mosque he gave instructions. He said the people who were arrested for that should be released, number one. Then the school should be reopened. You understand? That was during the mass. I thank God Imam Sheikh Gumi gave a counter position, which was an in-depth revelation, and he was more balanced because this man is coming from different position as well educated and so. So these are the challenges we have. When the person you sit before to hear the ways of God and the direction of God is radicalized, it will be difficult for you who is listening to that person. It also happens in the Christian community. You understand? It happens in the Christian community. There are some faiths or there are some denominations that will not mingle with other denominations to the extreme. There are some denominations, when they start talking about them on social media, other denominations will attack them heavily and seriously, irrespective of the fact that some people in those denominations are better off or are doing well or are doing good to the society or to the community at large. You understand? So when a cleric, when a clergyman, when the leader of a mosque or a church is tilting towards extremism, the government should be able to watch that particular person. I thank God for the Council of Islamic Affairs. There should be activity, because I believe Islams do evangelism. Yeah. I believe they evangelize. Okay, now tell me, there are people before Deborah was killed that would have been considering becoming part of Islam. There are people that would have been considering getting into a relationship with somebody who is a Muslim.
Yeah.
And then this particular issue happened. And then you are seeing people who are supporting that, and the person is watching. You understand? So another thing is this. There are some gray areas, because when you talk about blasphemy, you talk about certain areas that are sacred that should not be touched or misjudged. There are some gray areas in certain religion. In the Judaism aspect, for instance, the reason why the major reason why the Sanhedrin Council, the priests, the Pharisees, the major reason why they got a hold on Jesus and decided that he was going to die was because they said he blasphemed. He's taking himself to be in the position of God. Now, in the Old Testament, in Leviticus, he said, anyone that blasphemes against God must be stoned to death. But that law was not given outside the context of anybody that is not a Jew. It was still within the family of the Jews. And let me clarify something. Today in Israel, you hardly see people who take out that action because they have to understand the Bible in context, like what he's saying. Now, the Quran also was written in context. It has a background view and background knowledge. And people must understand the place where the writers were coming from, the situation that surrounded some portions of the Quran, and then understand how it implies. Because, take for instance, Nigeria, we are still trying to gather ourselves. Nigeria is not an Islamic country, but there are Islamic countries that are not practicing some of the extreme level of Islam.
My brother, even if Islamic countries, they are what you call the Sharia laws.
Yes.
The brother was supposed to have been reported, tried, and convicted before the Sharia law became of. But what happened? This was just jungle justice.
Yes, jungle justice.
So where are they coming from? That has no place in Islam.
And to think that there was no revolt, that's another thing, because that's to tell you the level of the degradation of people's mental capacity. There was no revolt. There was no person that countered the action. Everybody at the public view watched how the girl was stoned, and then some people even took stick to go and make sure her brain was totally hit.
Where was the law enforcement agencies before this were conceived and the actions were carried out?
Yes.
Is there that in the Shagari College of Education is isolated from this country? The school authority were not watchful.
Does that mean there were no lecturers there?
There's no reinforcement from the spirit people to say, look, somebody is about to be killed. So you see, this conspiracy is just beyond my imagination.
And it happened to the extent that they got time to even put tires
and set fire on her.
Yes, and set fire on her. Now look at this. If there were people that were interested in becoming Muslims, this issue should be addressed. You understand? The clerics should be in the position, very serious position, to start talking to the people who are worshiping in their mosque. They should be in a very serious position to readdress people, and then the orientation can come up from there.
All right, thank you for your thoughts. I was enjoying the discourse. I was just enjoying it. But this is not the first time. We had issues like that. There was a lady that was killed also during going out for outreach in one of these northern states. She was killed and nothing happened. This happened again. My question, let me go to Mr. YUSUF. According to the Nigerian Constitution, Nigeria is a secular state.
Right. Of course.
But in practical, are we really a secular state? What we are having right now, what we are seeing around us, are we really a secular state?
Thank you, Joseph. What is happening in Nigeria is a terrible thing. Nigeria is a secular state in the book. Outside the book, everybody is on his own. Jungle justice everywhere. We've not really seen a deterrent. Somebody has done something and then the law applied. It's different law operating here, another one operating there, yet we have one single constitution. It's difficult because the Quran is here, the Bible is here. It's very clear, thou shalt not kill. They didn't know where that one is jettisoned. Now you cannot kill. And I don't see anywhere. I am not really a Muslim, but I have read Quran, the Bible, the English type, some of them sometimes. I didn't see where the prophet said you should kill somebody because it's blasphemy. Sometimes what people call blasphemy, it might just be a mere joke, and then things are happening the way they are happening.
But there are some areas that is a no-no, according to...
Yes. If you really look at the religion itself, the no-no you are talking about it's human malformation. No. It's not all the days about Jesus. He didn't ask you should go and kill somebody. Oh. Even when the lady was brought that caught in the heart, supposed to be stoned to death. The man didn't say, okay, you know you are without sin, you have never seen before, you cast the first stone. He didn't say don't stone, and everybody cross-check himself, everybody judge himself. That is how it should be. I think it's a conspiracy. There is jealousy everywhere. I am sure what really happened to Deborah is more than meet the eye. It's not just that thing that they now clamor to call blasphemy. I don't even know where it is written anywhere, blasphemy. So what will happen is that there's a conspiracy somewhere. Some people gather somewhere to attack. They be looking for a way to attack. And you see, they're always ladies. They're always ladies. There must have been some refusal somewhere, some approach somewhere, and they just use their religion to cover. Like we just mentioned, I have sat down in my house totally a little bit confused. Do you mean no police station nearby? You mean no authority, army, no authority, and you even kept you even kept the person in the security post, and they
strangled her from there, and you couldn't even call for reinforcement.
Cannot make call. So listen, I'm afraid to go to those parts of the country now. I probably prefer to go to a nearby country than to go to our own country. That's
because of the orientation.
And it's not happening here. And it's not happening in the southern part. It's not happening.
MALAM,
People have said so many things about
while
Christianity.
Eda was talking, he said most of the clerics, both the Christian faith also, what they preach from the pulpit or wherever they are preaching from, plays a role in shaping the minds of the people. Do you think, for instance, within that northern zone, the clerics should be checked in what they tell the people?
I will start like this. I think this country is one country where religion has too much freedom. Probably those in authority are not even religious themselves, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian. Because if we know what it takes to be religious, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian, when you are in authority, you have to borrow from these books. Because the books, I am a student of the Bible, the books are so clear about humanity, naturally. I don't think neither does the Bible or the Quran permit you to take life unjustly without the necessary approach that has to be taken into consideration. Let me just read for you. Dr. Shuba Okadibo said, if you are emotionally attached to your tribe, religion, or political leaning to the point that truth and justice become secondary considerations, your education becomes useless. And that's how we have in this country. A lot of these clergymen are not leading to the religious aspect of their life. They are tribally or politically inclined. Yes. That's not the truth. You see, my brother Jonathan said it's not happening in the South. It's happening in the South. Look at the IPOB. Exactly. It might not be religion, but it's a belief. Exactly. It's a belief. Just like you have the Boko Haram, it's a belief. But because the IPOB are Christians, but in quotes, why the Boko Haram are Muslims, but their activities are almost the same, taking life with ignominy without necessarily having a feeling. And this is not so. So what is the role of these people who are on the pulpit? Preach the right religion. You see, most of us preach prosperity now rather than preaching the word of God. And when you leave the word of God, because God says the birds in the air have no farm, they dust nothing, but they go out in the morning, and by the time they come back to the net, they are well fed. This is supposed to be the role of those of us who are clergymen, whether you are a Muslim or a Christian. The Quran says, we created man and the jinn not for any other purpose but to go and serve me, which is God. If we take that into consideration and we begin to preach totality of God, it will impact the life of those of us who are preaching it, and even those who are listening to us. And to a larger extent, it will reduce the workload of government. But today, what do we have? People preach something different from Godism, if there's any language like that.
Godism.
And people now preach life everlasting. And life everlasting, whatever he equips you with, is ability to destroy. That's why you have Yahoo, courtesy, stealing, and robbery, and all over the place, because everything is about the world and not the hereafter. So this is the problem. So we are calling on ourselves, both malams and prophets and pastors, to remember that we have much work to do here, and we are going to be accountable to the Almighty, because nobody wore you the cassock of prophethood. You decided that you're going to be a clergyman, and if you cannot do it for God, then you will go to hell even before you die in this world.
All right, thank you for that. Eda, what are the roles of government in ensuring that people are given the right orientation to avoid such kind of killings in our society?
Okay, I will come from the area of the Constitution. People need to be informed. People will have to be given proper orientation about the implication of taking laws into their hands, and then people need to also understand the different agencies that should be involved, or the modalities or processes when their rights or their own personal freedom is infringed. You understand? People must not see themselves as lords. I think, yes, there is Sharia law in the north, in some northern part of the country. Yes, in the US, for example, there are some states that practice some laws different from other states, so we are not disputing that. But I think we should understand that the Sharia law is more religious than constitutional. You understand? And when it's more religious, it should be binding to people of that religion, of that particular faith, so that the people who do not practice that faith can understand that they are liable to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, and I think this area of swearing with Bible or Quran, and then going into the office to start doing things that are unbiblical or unquranic is very unfortunate. You know, I think all these leaders should even pass through the school of maybe the school of the Bible or the school of Quran, no matter whoever they are, whichever they have identified with. Because I remember a political leader made a tweet, and then later on, because some people said, well, I won't vote for that man has lost my vote, the man dropped his tweet, and then he also sacked
he corrected that. He
sacked the person that gave the tweet. And since then, a lot of other leaders have been very, very careful not to actually say anything in public view over what is happening. Is a challenge. Is a challenge, because the people who are following you need to know your position as far as some certain issues are concerned. And if you are leaving it in the area of the clerics to address, please let the clerics also know that they have that responsibility of handling such things. So the law enforcement agents, like he said it could be something different motivation other than maybe what we are seeing. No, I don't believe that, because if it was an accident, or if it was motivated by something else, maybe relationship or something, what about the riots? What about the burning down of some, the vandalization of some churches? What about the looting? Were the people looting the businesses of non-indigens, were they actually practicing the same Islam? Was that part of the... There are things that people should come up and begin to tell people. You are protesting over the arrest of somebody, and then people are now vandalizing the businesses of
burning houses and all that.
Burning houses and burning properties. And is that part of it? And then nobody is saying something about it. And there you expect these people not to be prepared for such a kind of reprisal the next time it happens. People are not comfortable over there. People will not. And the Quran says that anyone who kills or destroys or vandalizes somebody who has accepted to live with you in peace, is liable to hellfire. So there is judgment to
Are
that.
you
So
quoting from the Quran?
yes, I'm telling you,
You read
he's
the
here.
Quran
Yes,
too?
of course,
All right,
of course.
so-
I understand the Quran,
Okay.
and I also read.
I have to clear that.
Yeah, so when people have accepted to live with you peacefully, you are not supposed to now put them in such a dangerous situation. But now, those people who are non-indigenous, so it started from religion, it entered into tribe, and then it has now become a matter of maybe scaring people who are non-indigenous. And these people believe they are Muslims. Are they actually Islams?
Just to support what he said, it is written here that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may the peace and blessing of God be upon him, commands even in war, don't cut a tree, don't kill a child, don't kill old people, don't destroy a temple or a church, don't destroy a building, just like we were saying now. Don't kill those who surrender to you. Don't kill those who are running away. Don't kill a woman.
Don't kill a woman.
Sick person. Don't kill a sick person. Don't kill a monk or a priest who is on cassock. Don't disfigure the dead. Like the girl died, after that they still burn her to death.
Wow.
This is order from the person they are fighting for. This is what he said. Don't kill an animal except for the purpose of consumption. Be good to prisoners and free them if they don't attack you. Then don't enforce the religion.
Don't enforce the religion.
This is from the prophet.
So I wonder what
And
the
this
Quran
in the case
this,
of war.
In the
And
case of war, but
and
now we
there's
are
no
even
war.
in peace.
We
No
are,
war.
we are living in peace.
These are even in the case of war. This
There
is
is
what the prophet
no
said.
war, and then these millions of people who did that thing have not been given a proper orientation.
orientation.
So
That's what
it's
I'm
a
saying.
challenge.
That's what I'm saying.
It can escalate tomorrow. It has always been.
I'm
that
sure
way.
some people are looking at me and say, what is Bako saying? Where did he get on something?
Of course,
But
yes.
because
But
their own kind of education and orientation does not teach towards what I think I know.
but you're quoting from the
Yeah, I'm
Quran.
quoting from the hadith.
So when you
Yeah.
quote from there,
So
it's
these
fine.
are the two books left for the Muslim, the Quran and the hadith.
Yes.
The deed of the prophet
Yes,
and
of course.
the law given to him.
Yes.
So anything you want to do in life must be in line with these two books. So anything outside this,
Go to the foundation.
yes,
of
anything
everything.
outside this, you are going to hell.
All right, thank you for that. Mr. Ewe, what can be done by governments in order to like foster such occurrence? The action government can take so that such thing will not repeat itself again.
The reason for law is to avoid this kind of thing. The laws are everywhere, and nobody seems to be putting teeth into the laws. All the laws that we have, they are like toothless bulldog all over the place. I think the government should now, they have played that kind of like a Daska's style, looking at religion. I think at this point, I will be asking that the government should put more eye, all the religious organizations and churches put more eye to know, at least begin to know what is happening. It's not just enough now to just let them freedom just go.
So they
I'm
can
not
be
against-
preaching whatever they feel like.
So you could be sanctioned for certain things because the dig dong, the in thing that we're talking about here now is not in the air. It started from the house, the worship house. They all started from the worship house because there are some languages you don't understand. They are perpetuated and they are orchestrated in the worship house, and then you see the characters coming to manipulate them or carry them out outside. I think I would recommend that government should put eye, even here, put eye in religion, what they preach. Once in a while, find out what the preaching look like, so that we'll not.
Malam Bako, what can be done against those people that did that to Deborah, Samuel? Those people were
Obviously, I'm sure that if you place those people before the Sharia court will find them guilty. If Nigeria would just use it to try the religion of Islam, put those people before a clergy Sharia man who knows what it takes, those people will condemn according to Islam. That's number one. Number two is that, see, there should be difference between religious acts and just public disturbance by some individuals. And I think by extension, I also want to say that all these public institutions, if they are not worthy of them, they should close them down. Okay. Recently, we are hearing too much thing about schools where things are happening that are beyond human imagination. Even Facebook, when you post any stupid thing, they will lock you off. Talk less of a country that has, laws and orders. Like I said before, where were the school authority when this issue of Deborah started? Could they have done something to save Deborah? The security department where she was kept before the mammoth crowd came, they didn't have access to phone to call the police, or when the police called, they just said there was no fuel in their vehicle, which is normal in Nigeria. This is beyond that secondary school alone. Government should go beyond and find out, let Deborah's case be a case study to avoid this occurrence of these things. Because when they happen, all you now hear about is religion's problem, Christian versus Muslim. But the bottom line is, where this is were starting, a lot of forces were neglected that led to what now become what is the issue of the day. So government is to blame, the law enforcement agency is to blame, the security is to blame. Then those who are involved should be punished.
Okay, there were some young men after the arrest, Edda. Yes. They came out they were protesting that these guys should not be arrested, that they should bring them out. What is your thought on that?
Yes, I think that's part of the neglect. That's part of, I think, the North government should infuse serious education and serious orientation.
It's both ways, because we have the IPOP.
We have the IPOP here. We have the country need to be reorientated.
In the case of IPOP and ESN and unknown
whatever
government,
group,
unknown government or whatever.
Yes, because the IPOP, lots of Igbos are IPOP, but they are not in support of the acts of the unknown government. I hope we understand that. So somebody who is hearing now that the IPOP are violent and they are destroying
they destroyed the secretariat.
The unknown gunmen.
Okay,
the
those are the
unknown gunmen.
Oh my
and
God.
then
they are growing bonds every day.
There's a group that is identified under the autopilot who IPOP has dissociated themselves.
All right, let's not go that far. Let's come back to those young men that were protesting.
Oh my God, what a country!
What a country!
Those young men that were protesting.
Those guys, when those guys were arrested, some persons were arrested.
Yes.
Some young people came out to say, bring them out, bring them out.
It goes back to the fact that they are now lack of education.
Okay, the people that were protesting, we have that protest has died down because the governor imposed the curfew,
which has been relaxed now.
Yes, and then law enforcement went into action to calm the situation. But the challenge is, having calmed that situation, can this ever repeat itself again? And the answer is yes. If there is no proper orientation, if you don't educate those children that are literally, I've been to Sokoto. The moment I came down from my bus, I saw over 25 of them in one batch coming to beg. 25. After that batch leaves, another batch comes. And these are people who have been littered there, here and there, and people give birth, like that, and without even plan on how to care for them. And these children, they might not know what actually they were told to do. Like during the time of EndSARS, some people that came to vandalize in Abuja, they told them that people are trying to take over their government, so they should go and give them 5. So they might not; those children might not even know what is happening. But the moment they tell them go ahead and vandalize, they will just enter the street and then begin to.
And there is a way these things are kept.
Oh, that's the much we can take on this program. The topic, we will continue on it. We want everybody to be educated, enlightened concerning our religious belief and how to tolerate ourselves within the space we find ourselves. Let me thank Wisdom Elder Iberi for your thoughts this morning. Thank you so much. EWHE OSIFO, member Edo State Drug Control Committee. I wanted to move as well, those people were able to influence that they took drugs before doing that. I'm sure they were influenced.
We are going to continue. That's
yes,
why
they should investigate them. All right, thank you, Mr. EWHE OSIFO, for your thoughts. The former chairman, Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Edo State, MALAM, BAKO, YUSUF. Thank you once again for your thought. And my producer, Godwin Enobakare, thank you for your contribution to this program. My name is Josephine. Do have a productive day.